Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out, he is a Spider Pig. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web?
He's way up there. Hey, what's he doing?
Kame! Everyone, get down! Take cover! Get moving! Goku's releasing the Kamehameha!
Goku wouldn't dare emit the Kamehameha wave attack from there. He'll destroy the Earth if he dies.
Just relax, guys. Goku's crazy, but he's not that crazy. There's nothing to worry about.
No! Goku!
No! Don't do it! Please, Dad, don't!
No! He wouldn't!
Cell at his own game? Fighting at full power and using the killer combination of the Kamehameha wave with the instant transmission technique really blew Cell's mind. The sly Super Saiyan's maneuver put his friends in a panic, but the risk seemed to have paid off. Now the cruel monster is out of commission, and the threat to planet Earth is over. Or is it?
Of creation itself. Goku, I'm afraid, has yet to understand this and reach this point in his life, the Grand Priest continues, which is why he is no match for Takira nor worthy of being labeled.
Become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Sid?
I already joined his Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the dominoes and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing crisis here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
This is without a doubt a very critical and important moment for Goku, especially if he wishes to make it out of this battle against Takira alive. But even then, I can also sense that Vegeta is also locked in a very intense battle against an enemy that is far beyond what he's ever faced before. It is a very dire situation for both warriors here, and unless something changes and changes fast, then I'm afraid they won't be able to pull through, as everything they've worked for will be destroyed.
As our story continues, following the events of Takira being shown putting down Primal Ultra Instinct Goku and having to leave him for dead, as with Goku now being shown struggling to get back up as the Grand Priest and Whis continue to observe, it was only during their observation where the Grand Priest went on to respond, since Son Goku is left to fend on his own, failure to answer the count of 10 will immediately result in Goku's elimination unless he calls for one of his 2 remaining lifeline perks to be used. Hold on one moment, Grand Minister Whis went on to quickly respond. It would appear as though Goku is still moving down there, as it looks like he is struggling to fight to stand back up as Takira approaches. Oh, very interesting, the Grand Priest responds, and it appears like Takira isn't quite finished with Goku now that he's shown moving below, so we will wait and see what comes from this, since it looks as though Takira is looking to engage with the Saiyan again, in which all the while with Goku now shown struggling to stand back up as Takira approaches, that was when Takira went on to respond, "It doesn't surprise me to see you still fighting through the pain in order for you to rise back up and continue, but without the aid of a higher angelic power to face me with, you are finished. You are without a doubt the first mortal to ever come this far in challenging us," Takira went on to continue, "as you are also the first that I am able to see who harbors such angelic potential. However, the path of a true warrior is filled with both victories and failures, and your failure here comes solely due to your lack of understanding and awareness of that very power that you harbor. You will never be an angel by blood, Goku, that much I'm sure you already know, but what about reaching their power? It's the only reason on why I agreed to fight you," Takira continues, "and it was because I saw that very power coursing through you. I could destroy you at any moment that I choose, and I'm sure you know this as well, but I am giving you a chance to do whatever it is that you need to do in order to draw that power that I see sleeping within you out onto the surface so that I may have a worthy opponent to battle in you, Goku." But even then, it didn't seem as though the others were taking very kindly to this, as Budo went on to chime in, "Oh, so he's looking for a worthy adversary and wanting to draw this Saiyan's alleged potential out? But why? Because he's the first mortal to be shown wielding such strength? Who cares? He should be done with the puny creature so that this could end," with Takira continuing, "Budo, Akuma, and Yoshido are the strongest beneath me and the Grand Priest for a reason, Son Goku. You could never eclipse either of them unless you draw this celestial power out. You won't be able to throw me out of the ring or even dream of making me submit while only wielding this primal form of yours. And unless I'm wrong about you, then I will make sure that this battle between us no longer continues as I hand you your defeat. So I will ask you again, are you willing to rise back up and prove to me on why you are worthy to stand among us or not, mortal?" I will never, no matter the odds, quit while coming this far, Goku went on to respond, in which within that very moment, as soon as Goku's aura was now shown erupting with Goku jumping back into his primal Ultra Instinct form, that was when Yoshida went on to chime in by responding, "Whoa, and there the Saiyan goes again with his miracle attempts of trying to fight back again." I don't know if it was what Takira just said that ignited this fire of his that he's letting out, or if the mortal simply still believes that he could still win, with Akuma responding, "Oh, he wants the best out of this little worm, which is why he is still giving him a chance to try and fight back." Oh, this is unlike of him to consider, with Goku now being shown dashing back out towards Takira by shouting, "Maybe this ought to be worthy enough for you, Takira." Unfortunately for you, Goku, it won't be, Takira went on to respond. "I already know exactly what you will do before you do it, and fighting with your pride will only ensure defeat." "Oh, we'll see about that," Goku went on to then quickly respond by attacking Takira with, as Takira then went on to block off Goku's attacks by responding, "This battle should serve as a reminder that there are forces in the multiverse that are far beyond the scope of mortal understanding. Embrace the truth of your mortal limitations if you can't transcend into a higher realm, and give up," with Takira then quickly shown having to counter Goku's attack by striking him in the face, with Yoshida responding, "Hey, do the rest of you see that there? Is it me, or is Takira starting to go for the mortal's vitals? Cause if Takira's starting to turn the pressure on, then that monkey man is finished." Oh, but it won't be, not until Takira finds out if the Saiyan can do what he's asking of him or not, Akuma responds. "Maybe I was wrong about you, son Goku," Takira continues. "It seems as though your potential has been squandered due to your inability to see past your mortal ambitions. Perhaps you are nothing more than just a man who was lucky enough to find himself rubbing shoulders with gods," Takira continues. "And I believe that you had the capacity for greatness, Goku, which was why I wanted to fight you. But your inability to evolve beyond the mortal realm and into something far more for me to contend with is a profound disappointment. And if you aren't worthy to be called a rival, then what good is my time if I'm going to be wasting it on someone who isn't worth me trying against," Takira continues. To which, even despite Takira being shown having to drop Goku on down before having to stomp down onto his chest, where Goku then went on to say to himself, "Oh, this guy is way too sharp and way too strong for me to fight head on like this. How the heck do I do it? How is it that I'm supposed to evolve when I don't even know what the heck he's talking about?" Every battle that you found yourself being a part of has shaped the very fabric of your being, son Goku. But what about these? What about this one? You've broken through one barrier, but how about the other, Takira continues. "The others may overlook you, but that is because they don't see your potential, but I do. Or at least I did. Only angels were ever strong enough to push me into becoming who I am, and my training with them has taught me many things," Takira continues. "But what about you and yours? Did you truly take what your angel has given you in order for you to do the same as I have? Or did you simply overlook what was already in front of you?" Takira went on to throw a punch by responding. Oh goodness, well, as much as I hate to admit this, Whis went on to chime in, but Takira is right. I never wanted to simply give Goku all of the answers to his problems, but to just simply guide him into getting them on his own. But he couldn't see what I saw, Whis continues. And it may also be because Goku is still new to wielding the power of the angels, but, well, we did all that we can do to help. To which, upon Takira now being shown unleashing a barrage of punches and inflicting massive amounts of damage to Goku, it was only just as Takira was now shown doing so where Yoshida went on to chime in. Yep, I think this fight's in the bag. Takira's moving so fast that even I can't seem to keep up with his speed. And if I can't see him coming, then that mortal is doomed," with Budo chiming in. "Yes, crush that Saiyan! He was only ever good enough to be acknowledged within the moment, and now that Takira has his number, he's done for. He should have listened to Whis and not stuck his nose in wanting to call us out for a battle." Well, I'm afraid that the disparity in our power when compared to Goku's, the Grand Priest went on to chime in, is rooted in the vastness of experience and knowledge that we've acquired over countless eons. And though powerful in his own right, Goku has yet to master the delicate balance of angelic and celestial harmonies. My power, as an example, comes as a result of my deep connection with the celestial realm and my ability to tap into the raw energy of creation itself. itself. Goku, I'm afraid, has yet to understand this and reach this point in his life, the Grand Priest continues, which is why he is no match for Takira nor worthy of being labeled as a worthy rival to Takira's power, with Whis responding, "Oh, please, Goku, don't let this be the end of your journey." To which, upon Goku now being shown having to be left defenseless and having half of his body now being shown dangling from the stage, was when Takira went on to respond, "I see nothing more coming from this mortal if he is unable to evolve any further than where he currently is, Grand Minister. You may count him down and out for this battle, for he has nothing left," with the Grand Priest responding, "Very well then, the countdown shall begin, and if Son Goku fails to answer the count of 10, shall be officially eliminated from the tournament," the Grand Priest says. To which, in the meantime, as this was shown happening, when then venturing on over to Earth and seeing as to how Kuriza was now finally confronting Master the Ultra Ego Vegeta, as with neither of the two being shown having to back down from the other, it was only upon Kuriza being shown addressing Vegeta where Kuriza went on to respond, "You have been a thorn in my side now for decades, Vegeta, and I truly hope that you've enjoyed your time as being the prince of a dead race of monkeys while it lasted. You don't appear afraid," which goes as far as to show me the influence that Lord Beerus has had on this evolution of yours, Kuriza continues, "but he will soon be dealt with after you. And just so we're clear, you do understand that your ability to try and separate my fusion by using your forced spirit fission won't work on me since I am much stronger than you now, right, Saiyan? So you can forget about trying to split our merger because you have no chance of winning. You primitive beast, can you even comprehend the power that you are up against right now? You couldn't even begin to dream to compare to me, monkey," with Vegeta responding, "And do you think that's supposed to scare me now that the two of you are one? If anything, this makes destroying you both now even more worth my while, especially if it means crushing two birds with one stone. Now doesn't it, fusion? I don't need to separate your fusion in order for me to win. I have a few other tricks up my sleeve that I'm going to save for you. So you may be stronger than I am at the moment, but you know as well as I do that it'll only be a matter of time before I blow right past you and rip the two of you fools apart. Call it a battle of tenacity, if you will, Kuriza," with Kuriza being shown looking at his arm by responding, "Tenacity, you say? Yes, how interesting. Well, while you continue to ramble on in your own self-delusion, I'm more curious about what this body of mine can do and the amount of power that I can exert from it," Kuriza continues, "since this would be the first time that we are forced to use this body in combat. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vegeta, but the other half of your pathetic friends, including the guardian of this world, Dende, are all still up there, are they not? Well, I don't want any more of your little friends to get in our way during the course of our next and final battle. Do you understand? You and I are going to battle without any more of these leeches getting in our way," with Vegeta having to question, "Wait, what are you talking about? What are you going to do? There are none left to oppose you, so leave all of them on the lookout out of this and focus on me and me only, you coward. I'm the one you're after, right? So leave the rest out of this and fight me. You have no business getting the others involved if this is our battle," Vegeta went on to then continue. "You seem a bit confused by what I'm trying to do here, so allow me to make this as clear as I can to you, Vegeta. I am going to eradicate your allies, every last one of them, until there is not a trace of either of them left. Why? Because that is what I came here to do, to destroy you all, starting with yourself and Goku. I don't care about this planet or any of its pathetic creatures who live on it, and that so happens to include your friends. My goal is to make sure that none of you ever cross me ever again, and I will do what is needed to carry out this act, Vegeta, with Vegeta responding, "Why you? You are just as big of a coward as Frieza was when he tried to destroy this planet when he was resurrected. You wouldn't dare. All you'll be doing is digging your grave much deeper if you try," Vegeta continues. "So now turn that ball of energy towards me and let's do it. Try and destroy me if you think you can, you weasel." But then, it was only during Vegeta's plea where instead he wanted Kuriza to attack him, where Kuriza instead had gone as far as to fire a gigantic energy blast towards towards the lookout as Cooliza went on to respond, "I don't need to try because I'm going to destroy you sooner or later anyway, you barbaric little destroyer monkey. But not before those pests on the lookout die first as a measure of my plans falling in line, Vegeta." "Oh, damn it all, no!" Vegeta shouts. To which within that very moment, as a gigantic explosion was now seen in the sky with the entire lookout now being shown destroyed, it now looked as though Cooliza had taken initiative in catching on to something else as Cooliza went on to continue, "You have no idea how badly this is going to end for you, Saiyan. And now that they're all dead, it's time that we clean those two up from below as well. They would have died sooner or later against us anyways," Cooliza continues. "Now do make sure to move out of the way because I want you as fresh as you can be when I rip you to pieces." And with Goku nowhere to be found and with Piccolo and Gohan dead along with the others, you are left all alone with no one to help you against me, Vegeta. This is the end. But then, it was only just before Cooliza could act on his promise in destroying both Piccolo and Gohan to where Vegeta had gone as far as to dash towards Cooliza by shouting, "Oh, like hell it's going to be! Not if you die first, you coward!" To which as soon as we then see how Cooliza had gone on the defensive, that was when Cooliza went on to respond, "Well, well, well. You're actually willing to fight to save those rats from dying, huh? You will not be what decides our fate, Vegeta. If it means getting you to fight me without resorting into going after those who aren't even involved, then I'll do it," Vegeta went on to then quickly respond. "You're not scared of what's about to happen, are you? Do the two of you have any idea on how fusion even works to begin with? Because I have faced countless enemies in my past who were just as foolish as you are to fuse, and guess what happened in the end, you freak? They were all destroyed," Vegeta went on to then shout by attacking Cooliza. "Slaughtered in battle just like you'll be, you spineless excuse for a warrior." Very interesting, but your past isn't anything to be proud of, Vegeta. You were never truly the one to ever lay claim over any major opposition whom you faced before, Cooliza continues. Even when you had your moment to destroy Frieza when he returned, you still felt short of hitting your mark. You always depended on Goku and he always depended on you, but what are you both when you're not together? Vulnerable little ants beneath my foot is what the two of you are, Vegeta. You and your race of apes have foiled my plans of universal control for the last time, and I will not have either of you get in my way to stop me again. You think we didn't study you before we came onto this rock to take your life, Cooliza asks. We made sure that we did everything that we could to make sure that you and your friends never stop us again. Even if it meant temporarily injecting your DNA into our bodies to make sure that you all die, we did it. Your god of destruction will only be a god for so much longer until we get a hold of him, Vegeta. And once we do, then we will become gods of these worlds, not him. You should have died a long time ago, but I guess history had other plans for you and I, didn't it? I'm calling your bluff on this so-called ultimate power of yours, Cooliza continues, because just like you, it'll only shine within the moments before its fire completely dies. But even despite Cooliza being shown attacking Vegeta before having to proceed in throwing his body back down onto the ground, Vegeta even then, despite having to take such punishment, had refused to go down as Vegeta went on to stop himself from crashing on down to the ground by responding, "Or so you would have thought, you freak. This power only amplifies my desire to tear your head clean off your body." Oh, his power just shot up, Cooliza went on to say to himself. But why? He should be starting to decrease despite the ability to heal himself slowly. So why isn't his power dropping back down? In which, before you know it, as soon as Mastered Ultra Ego Vegeta was then shown having to dash back up by punching Cooliza in the face, that was when Vegeta went on to shout, "What is your fusion compared to a true Saiyan warrior who fights alone? Who fights with the willingness to die on his beliefs beliefs while you resort to cowardice tactics. I could never be compared to the likes of you, with Kuliza responding, you little pest. You're forgetting that I am also getting stronger thanks to the serum that I've taken with your DNA in it. And this destroyer arrogance that you preach about must have been passed down onto you from Lord Beerus, since he acts and carries himself the exact same way, you dirty little monkey. But this time, I doubt that your body is going to be strong enough to hold out on these. And if they pierce through your flesh and tear you into pieces, then so be it, Vegeta. Since you're so tough and thirsty for battle, Kuliza continues, then choke on these, you animal. If you die, then you die. In which, upon that very moment, with Kuliza being shown firing down multiple death beams directly at Vegeta's body, even then, despite all of the tremendous punishment that Vegeta was enduring, that was when Vegeta went on to then say to himself, oh, these beams are too sharp, but I must fight. Just look at you struggle, destroyer monkey. You can't be crazy enough to believe that you can take much more of this and survive, do you? Do you truly think you're invincible, pride monkey? Do you? I can do this all day, and sooner or later your body will start to break and your house of cards will come crashing down, Vegeta. Resist as much as you'd like. You'll only be destroying yourself in the process, and I'm going to be right there soaking it all in as you crumble. To which, surprisingly enough, that was exactly what Vegeta was doing as he was from that point shown making his way ever so closer towards Kuliza. As Kuliza went on to continue, not even Goku would have been this stupid to try and tank all of these and expect to walk away unscathed. But don't you worry, because when I end your life, his will be next. And with great pleasure too. To which finally, as Vegeta was shown having to get close enough in attempting to throw a punch, it had become fairly evident now that Kuliza was beginning to get the better of Vegeta. As Kuliza went on to continue, oh, what's wrong, Vegeta? Is my overwhelming power starting to irritate your precious god of destruction ego you've grown? I will do to you just as Frieza did on planet Namek before you were thrown in a hole to die. But the difference though will be that I will be taking my time with you. Yes, time. Time, which is something that you don't have much of, you dirty little slave monkey. To which, upon Vegeta's body now being shown having to hit the pavement below, that was when Kuliza went on to continue, let this be the beginning, Vegeta. Let this be the beginning of the end and a warning to all those who dare to oppose me. Did you honestly believe that your race of Saiyan warriors were the only ones who could adapt and become stronger over time? Has history not taught you anything, Vegeta? You try time and time again, and where does it ultimately bring you? It brings you right back to square one, where you first started, Kuliza continues. You Saiyans are no different than Sorelians or any other race of slaves that exist in this universe, but soon, this will be my universe to rule over, and I will make the rules and carry them all out as I see fit, Kuliza continues to shout. No more Saiyans, no more Earthlings, no more Sorelians, no more gods of destruction, nothing. Only me, one rulership, one power, one army, and one supreme god king to rule over everything. Everything will be ours, Vegeta. Everything as you know it to be. Now, I'm rather curious on where Goku currently is as he's fighting the so-called 5 strongest. There will be no 5 when all that will remain will be 2, Cooler and Frieza. And combined, there will only ever need to be 1, the only one that is needed. You are just a puppet, and your strings are slowly being cut without you knowing. But then, it was all of a sudden to the shock of Kuliza as he was beginning to hear Vegeta's voice come from below, where Vegeta went on to then respond, are you done yet or what? Because you're more annoying to listen to than Frieza was before he joined bodies with that stupid brother of his. You look a bit taken back, so what's wrong, Vegeta questions? Surprised to see me standing back up and ready for more? Good. That's the look that I wanted to see come from you. The look of confusion and dread. But just remember one thing, the longer this continues, the worse this will get for you, as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of the top 5 strongest warriors in the multiverse manga chapter number 53 special then comes to a close. Now this is it. For those of you that have been waiting for quite some time now to see what Goku's next evolution is going to be, well, to that you can only expect for the upcoming manga chapter, which will be that of manga chapter number 54, to be that exact manga chapter that you guys have been waiting on now for quite some time, which will also be made available right now on my Patreon for those of you out there who are members to see. So you do not want to miss out on this upcoming celestial evolution from Goku, in which he is about to wage war against Takira with. But on top of this, we also have Vegeta's continuous battle with Kuriza and so much more coming your way, to which I do encourage for all of you guys to become a member of my Patreon today if you guys want to go on ahead and see this and also gain exclusive access to RPNGs, soundtracks, and so much more. Patreon.com/UnrealEndGaming, to which I will go on ahead and leave those links located down in the description box below and pinned comment section below as well, because now this is it. We are nearing the end of this story, which I've said this time and time again. Whenever the story of the top 5 strongest in the multiverse concludes, that does not mean that it is going to be the end of this entire story as we know it, because way down the line, as I've said this on my Patreon, I will be confirming and creating a sequel to this story. So to that, you do not want to miss out on anything that's about to happen, because I can only promise you this, that moving forward, things are going to get very, very spicy, and I think you guys are really going to like what we have coming up next. So again, I want to thank you all so much for watching, everybody. Thank you all so much for your time, to which once more, if you also just so happen to be new to this channel, then I do encourage you all to head on over and smash that subscribe button, on top of giving this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for more, and with all that being said, I want to thank you all once more for watching and for your patience, time, and support, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, everybody, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to Unreal Endgaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.
It looks like someone's been doing their push-ups, sit-ups, and drinking plenty of juice. Why don't you and I do some private training?
OMG, I would so love to learn how to do the Kaioken.
You bet! I'll even show you my special power pole technique.
Goku, you are so rad. Dad, we're just going to train. Stop being weird.
The only thing weird here is Kakarot putting his hands on my baby girl!
Daddy, you have done this so many times. When Goten and I were hanging out, you overreacted like a total geek.
I want to take off your pride.
You bastard!
And when Yamcha offered me flowers, you knocked out his teeth.
Great!
Hello. You come around here often? Oh, wait, Vegeta, that's your... Oh my god. I flirted with a monkey. I almost committed bestiality. Ah! You're still a monkey.
Are you feeling angry, humiliated? Is that it? Fool! You
So Vegeta is the favorite candidate to be the next god of destruction of Universe 7, especially now that he's managed to use the Hakaishin power and still create a new transformation, which is the Ultra Ego. But it's not just Vegeta who's a candidate. We also have Goku as a candidate. Even though he has refused in the past, that doesn't mean he won't change his mind. And we have a third candidate as well who I haven't seen too much talk about. So apart from Goku and Vegeta, the other candidate I'm going to talk about in this video is Broly. Broly, who has incredible Saiyan instincts and is totally wild, would be ideal for the position of God of Destruction, and I'm going to go over all of my points with you today in this video. Broly, unlike his Dragon Ball Z version, is fully developed and arrived even more powerful. And as we know, Broly is not yet more powerful than Goku and Vegeta with their Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. This was confirmed by Whis during the Granola Saga, when he says that Vegeta and Goku were the most powerful in Universe 7, thus disregarding Broly. But that does not mean that Broly does not have the necessary potential to also become a god of destruction. Quite the contrary, since he does have one of the greatest potentials of Dragon Ball, and he is up there in the top 3 with Gohan and Goten with the greatest potential, and that's according to Akira Toriyama. And yes, Broly did lose to Gogeta, but he still resisted some of his blows, which is not something that anybody else would have been able to do. Of course, Broly did not even have a chance, but he did manage to resist some of them, which already proposes the fact that Broly could be stronger than the weakest god of destruction. We currently don't know who the weakest god of destruction is. My guess is that the weakest is that bearded god, Iwan. He must be the weakest, along with that Hakaishin who's inside the robotic shell. It's pretty interesting that the power of Broly, even more now that he's learning to control his power, and consequently he will get even stronger and evolve his Super Saiyan. We have to remember that he still has 2 more stages of Super Saiyan to achieve, which is the Super Saiyan 2 and 3, and I have mentioned in other videos him awakening the Super Saiyan 4 through his Ikari form as well. So yes, he has a ton of potential, and the really interesting thing is that since Broly awakened the Super Saiyan, he only used it once, and with that he didn't really have the opportunity to use all of the abilities of it. He could do the same thing that Goku and Gohan did in the Cell Saga when they used the Super Saiyan at all times in order to learn how to contain that energy expenditure. So with regard to the Super Saiyan, there's still a lot left for Broly to evolve. And he's only unlocked the Super Saiyan, so just imagine with all the S cells that he does have, and then unlocking the Super Saiyan 2 and 3. Now let me explain a little bit about the Force. So we saw that in Dragon Ball Super Broly, he did have that Ikari form, which was basically the Uzuru's power without losing the human form. It was interesting because it gave rise to the Super Saiyan 4. However, when this was adapted for the Dragon Ball Super manga in flashbacks, it was shown that in fact Broly was in his base form. We don't know if this was a mistake, but until then, the Ikari form did not exist in the manga, and so the Super Saiyan 4, it does lose its potential there. But that's okay, because we have another form that Broly could take on, which is the Divine form. Just like Goku and Vegeta, Broly could have his own Divine form, and you might argue this because of his Saiyan nature, but we're wrong, because if we stop and think about Vegeta is a very proud Saiyan and has the title of the Prince Saiyan, yet he's still got the Super Saiyan God. And Broly is way more kind-hearted than Vegeta, so he definitely would have access to this form as well. And what's crazy is Goku actually said that Vegeta had achieved this divine form without any help. So Vegeta did not even need to do the ritual like Goku did. But in the Dragon Ball Z game, Kakarot in the DLC, which adds the arc of the God of Destruction, and the Super Saiyan Blue forms, it does show that Vegeta had actually done the ritual at some point when Goku was finding out about his training. And this is canon, just like Android 21 from Dragon Ball Z Fighter was also canonical before she appeared in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. With that though, I do prefer the version where Vegeta got it all by himself. Comment below which version you prefer. But going back to Broly, in fact, he could get his Super Saiyan God and Blue. Of course, it would be kind of repetitive, but that's why the Super Saiyan 4 still has the possibility of happening, because there would be no better character than Broly to achieve this feat. Now, referring to Broly accepting to be a god of destruction, it's something very similar to Goku. He's very kind-hearted, and even comparing to Gohan in the fact that he doesn't like fighting and he's very peaceful. But after he saw Goku and Vegeta sparring in their base forms over on Beerus' planet during the superhero movie, he did seem to take a liking to fighting. and found that fighting can be fun and it doesn't always need to be against an enemy to the death. And training with them and learning about the martial arts will just help even more. So with that, we could say that he would accept the position. Of course, he does need to get an idea of what it's like to be a god of destruction, and he needs to go ahead and get that destruction mentality, just like Vegeta's working towards. But why would Broly then be a god of destruction candidate? It's because Whis is the person who's going to choose the candidate to be the next Hakaishin, and we see this more vigorously in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, where he looks for some candidates on the Time Patrol team, and he's looking for candidates who are powerful and have potential, and that's why Whis still considers Goku a candidate, even though he doesn't have the Hakaishin mentality. Despite this fact, Goku does know how to use the Hakai though. And for those who don't know, Goku used the Hakai against Zamasu fused with Black, and the only reason he didn't fully eliminate him was because the fusion put Mai in front of them, and so Goku had to stop the attack. So with all of that said, in terms of Broly's power, as a God of Destruction candidate, it's just like Top, because he didn't have the ideal of a Hakaishin, but he was still the second strongest in the universe, and he was a candidate to be the next Hakaishin. Previously, the first candidate, of course, was Jiren, but he completely refused. And this is referring to another universe, so that means it could happen in our universe as well. As I said, Broly does have the necessary power to become a Hakaishin, even without having the Hakaishin power itself. But for that, he actually has Whis, who would teach Broly everything that he taught Beerus. And it's also worth remembering that Broly would be very difficult to get the Ultra Instinct because he loses control very easily. But this isn't a requirement to become a Hakaishin, since most gods of destruction, they do have quite the temper. And most of the gods of destruction can't even use the Ultra Instinct anyway. Only Beerus had the advanced version, which was still weak. So the Ultra Instinct, it's not a requirement to become a Hakaishin. But referring to a Hakaishin's power, Broly would in fact have no problem dominating that, just like Vegeta, who's also dominated it with a certain ease. So let's finish to summarize. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are the candidates to be the next god of destruction. If it were put there in the ranking of favorites, it would obviously be Vegeta in first place, Broly in second place, and Goku in third place if nobody else will take the job. Precisely because he did refuse to be the Hakaishin there in the beginning of Dragon Ball Super when Whis asked him if he would. And if you agree, make sure to leave a comment there below, and also if you disagree, let me know some other possible candidates that you'd like to see considered for the next God of Destruction of Universe 7. Dragon Ball is coming back with everything, and this year we'll have the web anime, next year we'll have a movie, and in 2025 we'll finally have the return of the Dragon Ball Super anime with the adaptation after the Tournament of Power. We have a lot of content coming, so make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything about Dragon Ball. Frieza begins the execution of his revenge against the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, showing once and for all who is the strongest in the universe and taking revenge for the humiliation that he went through in the first battle against him, this time taking Broly off of Beerus' planet, even with Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, and Broly themselves there, demonstrating the terror of his new transformation. But do you think that Frieza could do it alone? There is a new character that will come to help. An old acquaintance for us, but has never appeared canonically in Dragon Ball. And this time, Toyotaro is bringing back this character who is so interesting to us. Do you know who this character is? I'll introduce it throughout this video. So, Frieza Black is currently the strongest mortal character in the entire Universe 7, surpassing Goku, Vegeta, Broly, and any other character, even the new one introduced, which is Beast Gohan. And there is a mission behind that power of Frieza. He didn't just gain this power randomly just to show off and defeat Goku, which was his default goal in Frieza's resurrection. He had a main goal that fell into a few categories, but the main one was to overcome the character who's not Goku, not Beerus, and not Vegeta or Broly, but a character that Frieza met and was very surprised by the existence of. After all, he had never seen it before. I'm talking about Gogeta. Yes, the fusion of Goku and Vegeta that during the Broly movie, for those who don't remember, Frieza was beaten by Broly and Gogeta appeared and Frieza finally met this fusion. And then this fusion, after Broly beat the crap out of Frieza, Gogeta took Broly on and overpowered him easily, so much so that Chi-Lai and Lemo actually had to wish Broly out of the situation. And even when Chilai and Limo went to go to the ship, Frieza tried to shoot at it, but Gogeta himself stopped him, and Frieza could not do anything about it because he knew there was a huge difference in power from his to Gogeta. So the question remains, is if Frieza has already surpassed Gogeta now? That's where I answer for you, probably not. But what would justify him leaving the time chamber? Well, he trained for 10 years in this time chamber, and he did achieve this black transformation that managed to put some terror in general into our characters. He was able to defeat Goku and Vegeta together, very surprisingly, almost like an ambush. He punched them both in the stomach and knocked them back to their base form simultaneously. So why doesn't he just stay in the time chamber a little longer so he can overcome Gogeta? It's because there is a problem that arises in training in the time chamber alone, and this problem is that if you train alone, you will have a limitation on how much your power can evolve. So there's no point in training 15, 20, or 30 years, because you have a natural limit there. So that's why he didn't continue after the 10-year mark, and probably still has not overcome Gogeta. And that's also why he mentioned in the Broly movie that he would like a sparring partner. So he left the time chamber to find that sparring partner, and then Broly fell right into his lap. He had the intention of training with Broly, but for that he would need to be able to control Broly, and he realized very quickly that he can't do this. And now that Broly does have a little more control over himself, he's over on Beerus' planet, so it's not like Frieza can just waltz all over there and grab him. So with Broly unavailable, there is another character that's starting to bring here for us that could be Frieza's companion in Broly's place. But before that, I'll explain to you why Frieza still has not surpassed Gogeta, because I know a couple people out there will be commenting that he already has. But we know that Gogeta is very powerful and defeated Broly without any difficulty. Broly literally did no damage to Gogeta because he managed to dodge the blows, block them, and then he managed to counterattack and leave unharmed. In addition, in one of the dialogues in the Dragon Ball Super manga, which is very different from the anime in some parts, the level of power and everything they show there can be different. So the East Kaioshin, who is a very analytical character and has a lot of notion of the powers in the universe, and has even seen Beerus fighting for millions of years, he stated that when Vegito appeared in the battle against Goku Black, he was superior to Beerus. And although this phrase is very literal, that's exactly what he meant. And when this type of phrase appears, it's because the writer wants to say something to the audience, but he can't just say it out of the blue. So they have a character play the messenger here. And even if you believe that not only this speech shows the power of Gogeta, because Vegito would be equivalent to Gogeta, but in this case, the current Gogeta is even stronger than Vegito of that time, because of course Goku and Vegeta have developed further. Remembering that the manga's Goku and Vegeta in the Black Saga would make a stronger fusion than the anime version, because they were individually stronger. There's the Super Saiyan Blue evolution from the manga, which was much more powerful than the normal Super Saiyan Blue from the anime. So already right there is a big difference, and Goku himself almost defeated Zamasu alone with his Hakai. And the Zamasus were already fused, so they had a lot more weapons there in the manga, and naturally the fusion would have been stronger, and naturally they would have statements like what the Kaioshin said. It's basically because of this statement that we can see that the fusion is very appealing and has always been the most appealing resource in Dragon Ball. When Majin Buu fought against Vegito, for example, we saw that Vegito beat Majin Buu without difficulty and didn't even need to use the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, which is strange because we did see Gotenks using it. So why wouldn't the Vegito fusion use it? Well, it's simply because he did not need it. Dragon Ball fusions are always a resource far above, and that is simply because it's not a sum of power. It multiplies the user's power exponentially, and that's why Gogeta is probably stronger than Frieza Black. And I believe that with greater certainty also because of the evolution of Goku and Vegeta. Currently, Goku can activate the Ultra Instinct when he wants to, and Vegeta also has acquired a new transformation, which is the Ultra Ego, in addition to being able to do the Hakai as well. There's also the True Ultra Instinct, which doesn't require an empty mind or emotional control to keep it intact. So this opens up a huge space for us to possibly use the Ultra Instinct in conjunction with the Ultra Ego, since the emotional control would no longer be necessary, and so it would no longer be incompatible with the other. So if the two of them got much stronger, they strengthened their base forms, then it's natural that the fusion would also get much stronger and even be able to access other techniques. And Gogeta is currently much stronger than he was back in the Broly saga. So even if Frieza left the time chamber thinking that he did surpass Gogeta, maybe he doesn't surpass the current Gogeta. And that's why I believe that Gogeta is currently more powerful than Frieza. So now let's go back to Frieza's intentions and his training. So who is going to be the character to help Frieza in the time chamber? Who would even be willing to do that without some threats? Well, Broly was ideal, but he's no longer an option for Frieza. Well, we did get a possible lead from an illustration that Toyotaro had released, and it may have provided the answer for us. He releases an illustration like this every couple months, and a lot of times there's hints to the current sagas. Like before Bardock showed up in the Granola Saga and really helped Goku change the tides of the fight, Toyotaro had released an image of Bardock a few months before that, with torn clothes and the body of an alien that he had killed in it. So he really looked like a savage in this illustration, and we can see a little bit better what would happen in the future. Now this did bring us a spoiler, which was the reintroduction of Bardock in Dragon Ball, and that ended up happening in the saga of Granola during a flashback when he fights one of the members of the Heaters, which is a villain named Gas. So Bardock came back after this spoiler. Now in this current spoiler, we are seeing Cooler. This could be Frieza's new training partner, the character that will rival the current characters, because just think, the future Frieza Black Saga, it's going to define him, and it should be the final end of Frieza, who is very powerful, but is rivaling Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Broly, and Beerus, and many other characters like the Z-Warriors, and possibly even characters from other universes who might jump in and help. But just the quartet of Saiyans is going to be enough to give Frieza some work. So now this new illustration, which showed Cooler, and for a lot of you who may not know or may have not watched these non-canon Dragon Ball movies, Cooler is Frieza's brother, and he doesn't have any canonical history, but he was made by Akira Toriyama. This differs from other non-canonical features of Dragon Ball, since it does have greater attention from the creator, and it's a huge hit with the fans. So Akira Toriyama himself designed it, and now in this illustration of the month, we have Toyotaro, who designed it as well. Now, if you have seen these Cooler movies, you're probably thinking, well, Cooler would be no match for our characters today. But just keep in mind that when they canonize a character like Broly, for example, even Gogeta, they changed the character quite a bit. Gogeta was well maintained, but Broly was changed completely, from his personality to his story, his initial power that he was born with, his current power, and all of that, so it would be more coherent with the current story. So if Cooler is introduced, he would also experience some changes, and of course the first change would be his power level. He would probably be as strong as he is in Dragon Ball Heroes, and as strong as Frieza or stronger than Frieza, and they will present a new story for Cooler and canonize this character. So he would be Frieza's new partner and responsible for this new saga from the next chapters onwards, skipping the saga here adapted from the superhero, which is a mini saga, and it's almost over. We are about halfway through adapting the movie. The only thing I can hope is that they keep the essence of the character. Cooler is one of the best Dragon Ball antagonists in my opinion. He's the older brother of Frieza and the antagonist of Dragon Ball Z movies, with an appearance in the movie Dragon Ball Z Cooler's Revenge, where he seeks revenge against Goku for defeating his brother Frieza. And he also returns in the movie Cooler Returns, using a form called Metal Cooler, which is also like a robotic form that resembles to some degree, but not so much in appearance, but with concept, the form of future Frieza. And just like his brother Frieza, Cooler is able to transform. He has a final form similar to Frieza, but also has an extra form that becomes more powerful, and that, considering Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, he is one of the most powerful beings in the world. And just like his name states, Cooler, he does have some skills in relation to ice, and the unique ability to freeze objects with his breath. It's very peculiar and definitely a helpful skill in battle. He also returns in another movie called The Return of Cooler, and he fights Goku and Vegeta together and leaves a whole legacy for Dragon Ball, because although he doesn't appear in the Dragon Ball Super series, he left his mark on the franchise as one of the most iconic villains. His design and power influenced other characters in the series, like the character Chilled, which is Frieza's ancestor. And if he is introduced, he'll also be one of the playable characters from the game Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Leave a comment below if you would like a video detailing about these Dragon Ball games. And so if we join Canon Cooler with Frieza, we would have a huge threat, mainly because Frieza Black is already enough to face Goku and Vegeta, so imagine two of them. Imagine if Cooler comes even stronger than Frieza himself, since it is possible to change the potential of a new character when they're being reworked and canonized. I would find it very cool, and I would find the perfect conclusion to end Frieza of the story once and for all, because he is getting repetitive at this point, and this character who is so loved would be a great replacement. Toyotaro has already said himself that he likes this illustration. He's talked a lot about how he was surprised by the new form of Cooler. He is a big fan of the non-canon Dragon Ball movies, and there's a lot of Akira Toriyama in those non-canon movies as well, just like Broly, who is also Akira Toriyama's design, and several other characters. They could even canonize Frieza's son, who is actually already canon, Kuritsa. And for those who don't know, Kuritsa does appear in the Nekomajin Z manga and is Frieza's son. He has several adventures with him, and even in Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, he has his skin to play. He is definitely mean like his father, but he's a character with a little bit more of a childish personality. He's a villain who really likes to troll people, and if you want, I can actually bring you a video about Frieza's entire family and how his species works. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. What do you think about canonizing Cooler to be Frieza's training partner? And before you go, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything about Dragon Ball.
So back in the earlier days of Dragon Ball Super, and maybe you guys can help me out a little bit down in the comments, but there was an episode, and I'm not sure the exact number, where Vegeta pleaded with Whis to train him. Now this would all come after finding out that Whis is actually the martial arts instructor and overseer of Lord Beerus.